Husband, M33, lost weight and doesn't find me, F33, attractive anymore. Me, F33, and my partner, M33, have been together for 13 years. I always thought we had one of those relationship goals things. Still have butterflies after all this time. When we started dating, my partner was overweight, but last year he worked really hard and lost a lot weight. I'm very proud of him, and he is happier with himself. Unfortunately, I gained a lot of weight over the last 3 years due to depression and medication. This has made me insecure when meeting people, but I've always felt safe at home. Well, until he told me he didn't find me attractive anymore. I was having a hard time wearing a swimsuit because I felt so unattractive and came to him for comfort, and he just agreed with me. I was shocked and angry at first, but now I'm just sad. I don't feel comfortable at home anymore. I cover up instead of wearing comfy clothes. I started eating less, not drinking alcohol, etc., but it doesn't do anything. I haven't lost weight. He apologized for making me sad, but it hasn't really changed anything. I still love him so much, but if I can't lose the weight, I'm scared we'll never get back to how we were. I guess the depression is also a factor, both for how I feel and how he feels, but that is also not something I can easily fix. Is there anything I can do to bring that spark back for him? Without taking my clothes off? Being told that is absolutely shattering. I'm so sorry, Op, you must be devastated. From the limited info of this post, the general feeling is that you should change for yourself and not anybody else. Someone who loves you will help you and encourage you when you're feeling down and would never say such things when you're looking for some comfort. Go see your friends, take yourself out for a tasty drink and browse some shops of your choice, or go to the beach and listen to music to get out of your head for a bit. XX. Did he not correct you or comfort you or actively say he doesn't find you attractive anymore? If your relationship is based on weight, then well, you are in the wrong relationship. We mostly can't help what we're attracted to, but the way he phrased this wasn't helpful at all. I am sorry you are feeling bad. I think you should ask your husband what you can do to bring the spark back. It sounds like you have love and honest communication, which are a great foundation. Is it possible for him to guide you on how he lost weight and do it also? Make it a shared goal, activity. Would probably help with depression too. I went through the same thing. Dream relationship, me ex-fiance and I got together in 21. Both males. Things were amazing for 10 years. He had a complex about balding and got a hair transplant which totally fixed his self-esteem. At the same time, I got locked down in a 60+ hour a week job, got depressed, and gained about 40 pounds. One day he looked at me and said, "BTW, I don't think I can be with someone that is overweight." He started making me weigh myself every morning. Woke me up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym after 12-hour workdays. Would criticize the hell out of any unhealthy food I wanted to eat. Then he left me. Honestly, that's not love. People gain weight, people lose weight. There are healthy ways to approach it. People can love each other, but physical attraction is completely different. Sounds like maybe he was rude or tactless, or maybe just too honest. I think he told you what would bring the spark back, and that would be losing weight. Plus all the health benefits and life improvements that'll entail. Man, shrugging. My BF, 23, wants me, 21F, to cut off my gym partner M23. Help me. Using a throwaway because my main is linked to my life and many people know it, so here goes. For context, I am a powerlifter, and anyone who knows about this sport is that it's group-oriented and you end up training in groups of people many times. As for me, I usually train in a smallish powerlifting gym where everyone knows everyone, so we tend to all show up at the same time so we can help each other out. Now this is where the issue comes in. One of the guys I train with, let's call him James, is a tall black man. I describe him as this because it matters to the story, and me and my boyfriend are both white. One thing about James is that he's an attractive guy, even though I am not attracted to him. He's not my type. There has been several times where my girlfriends have asked me if he's single and if I would introduce them to him. So one day me and my boyfriend were in bed together when an Instagram DM came up on my phone from another friend of mine swiping up on my story asking me, "Who's that?" Because earlier I tagged James in a story post I made. I laughed to my boyfriend and said, "Oh look, it happened again." My boyfriend had an awkward laugh and I questioned him on it because recently he's been acting weird anytime I go to the gym, asking me who's gonna be there or straight up if James is there. He then asked me if I have ever been with a black guy before because his friends have recently been making jokes about his girl getting took by one. I literally had no idea how to react because 1, he is my first relationship and he knows this, and 2, he knows that me and James only talk in the gym or very minimally about gym stuff, that's it. He then starts to describe James in a weird way and asks me how I'm not attracted to that, then starts to accuse me of lying to him to make him feel better. I keep trying to defend myself but he cuts me off and asks me to stop training with him, stop talking to him if you see him in the gym. I told him I am not gonna make the entire gym awkward and cut of a friend because of his friend's weird accusations. He then says that my refusal to cut James off is proof that something is there and has been giving me the silent treatment ever since. I am seriously racking my brain trying to figure out what is going on and figure out what I want to do, as if it really comes down to it, I'll cut James off because I love my boyfriend, but I seriously think this entire situation is insane. What should I do? Edit. Okay, want to clear a few things up because there has been a bit of a misunderstanding. 1. Me and James aren't close. We've had handful of conversations outside of the gym and we don't talk on social media, and when we do it's about competitions coming up or who we are competing against. 2. I didn't post James on my story. I was hitting a heavy single on squats and had 3 spotters. James was one of them, so I tagged him as well as the other 2 people spotting me as well as the gym itself, which is extremely common in the community. 3. I mentioned James' features because it was something that my boyfriend as well as his friends kept bringing up. They made several jokes about him taking me because he was black, and that's why my boyfriend brought this up. Update 2. So I managed to get my boyfriend to explain his issue with James. Turns out one of his friends, let's call him Mark, like one of my friends. Said friend was one of the people who asked me if James was seeing and they have been hooking up or something, and because of this my boyfriend friend group started to poke fun at Mark that he was too slow, and Mark for some reason switched it on my boyfriend and said, well, you're next, and for some reason my boyfriend decided to take what Mark said to heart and started rethinking my friendship with James. What's even more confusing is that the friend that James is hooking up with isn't even white, she's Asian, so how they came to this conclusion is absolutely beyond me. The race questions were made by his friends, but my boyfriend repeated them and he told me that his friends say that they're seen this same scenario happen before, as in, black guy steals white guy's GF. I had to hold back because I wanted to just smack my boyfriend in the dead, because what the actual fuck kind of reasoning is that? I started to go off on him, which resulted in him and saying he was just getting in his head and that he knows that I would never hurt him like that and he was overthinking everything. We are fine for now, but I asked him to seriously consider who he is friends with and what they are telling him, because none of this is okay and that normal people don't think like this. And because I want to clear it up again, when I say in training with James, the first mean he's in the area that 6-8 other people are in, sharing equipment and helping EACHOTHER out. We haven't never trained or worked out one-on-one, and his friends have never seen us interact with each other. My on the other hand has, and when they did train together they were nothing but giggles, which made this situation all the more confusing. It's insecurity. Truth is, everyone has to deal with their partner's insecurities in different ways. We all have them. How we act on our insecurities may seem bizarre. People will say, dump him, and it's fair to say, you don't need a good reason to do that, even if this is one. But it's ultimately up to you how much of someone's flaws you can tolerate. I would try to put yourself in his shoes. If he had a female friend who was fit with big tits, they shared a hobby, he tagged her in posts, your friends encouraged you to feel threatened by her, how would you feel? Maybe you're a secure person and wouldn't feel a certain way about it, but it isn't that hard to imagine why he feels this way. I can understand his insecurities, but as a black man I really resent this taken by one mindset. That's really othering, dehumanizing, and quite racist. As if that's what black men, who are apparently separate from other men, do. If James were white, would it have been worded the same way? Taken by one? I'd actually understand where he was coming from had he not been so hyper-focused on the guy being black. Most people get jealous when they feel threatened by someone, but not everyone is racist. I understand his insecurities, but his racism about it would ick me out more than anything else. While it is easy to spout the usual Redditisms, I know that if I was in his position I would find the situation concerning. He then asked me if I have ever been with a black guy before, because his friends have recently been making jokes about his girl getting took by one. Your boyfriend or his friends or both have porn brain. They think that black men are sexual threats, and that's why he is being so paranoid. You don't need to change anything because your boyfriend and his friends have watched too much racist cuckold porn. Girlfriend sweats and smells a lot and has bad hygiene, and it's unbearable for me. 30, M, 33, F. My girlfriend's body is always a bit warm. It's especially a problem in summer, especially because she sweats and smells a lot. She showers in the morning, though. She would also often wear stinky clothes from the day before instead of changing into new clothes every day. It took her a long time to get even a deodorant. She only liked to brush her teeth before going to bed, and her mouth smells so bad all day long. I don't have this problem, but I always shower before sex, unless I showered less than 2 hours ago. But she never does. Yesterday, we were having sex and I could lick the salty sweat from her nipples, and smell overall was so bad, it felt so bad I had to stop sex in between. Whenever I bring these points, she always passes the responsibility to me. That I should remind her to take a shower, and remind her to brush her teeth. She is not 5-year-old. I feel my job is to communicate my desire in case she is oblivious to her bad hygiene. Then she should listen to them and work on her hygiene. But nothing changes. I can't tell her to shower and brush teeth every time we meet like she is a 5-year-old. I feel the solution for me is to stop having sex with her altogether. Also give her light, hug her if she is wearing stinky clothes from day before. I don't want to break up with her because she is very loving person and I like her a lot otherwise. I am leaving the country in 2 months anyway. Until then, I don't want to have sex with her anymore. Shows old I continue a sexless relationship for the remaining 2 months, or is there a better solution? Update. I start dating her in the winter so problem was not noticeable at all. Also I feel she used to put more efforts in hygiene back then. TL. Doctor girlfriend sweats and smells a lot and has bad hygiene and it's unbearable for me. So why do you stay with her? There's plenty of clean smelling women out there. Why do you need Reddit to tell you stop fucking smelly girls? Are you just super desperate to not be alone? The real question is, why are you having sex with her if she smells that bad? You're both nasty. Her because duh and you because you want to stay with the live action Oscar the Grouch. I've broken up with guys for far less. Dude, just break up with her and get yourself a more hygienic woman. 36 per meter, might have a child, 6 per meter, with autism, but my wife, 35, doesn't believe it. Hi, relationship_advice. I'm not sure if this is the right place to post for advice on this situation, but here we go. I have a son who I suspect has autism or some kind of developmental issue. He is 6 years old, but can't speak in complete sentences and can't carry basic conversations. I am able to get information from him if I model the answer. Like, me, how are you? Him, me, I am. Him, I am good. I take him to the park and McDonald's so he can play with other kids. He loves playing with other kids. But he can't follow social cues. Kids will invite him to play tag, but he doesn't play tag. He just follows one kid around, he fixates on a single child. When kids ask him questions, he doesn't answer. So, kids either make fun of him or yell at him to stop following them. My son doesn't understand what is going on, and I usually have to pull him out of the situation. On the other hand, he plays quite well with 3-year-olds, because it's not like they have very complex social interactions. We enrolled him in a regular school for preschool, but when school ended, the school wouldn't continue enrollment. They advised me that we should enroll him in a special education school. My wife did not like this suggestion. My wife believed that the school had too rigid of a curriculum and expected too much from our child. So she started looking for more kid-directed schools. We enrolled him in Montessori next, and when that didn't work, because he couldn't follow the program, we enrolled him in one of these schools, where kids are allowed to do whatever they want. I originally went with this, because I went to a school like this when I was my son's age. I suggested we should screen for autism, but my wife completely shut me down. She doesn't really believe autism exists, except in the more obvious nonverbal cases or low-functioning cases, and that our son is perfectly fine and that we just need to find a school that is more tolerant of different learning styles. She thinks that I want to force our son to mask himself. That instead of allowing my son to develop as his own person, I want to conform him to the system, because I don't want to do the work, and would rather take the easy road. She's accusing me of wanting to turn our son into just another cog in the machine. But I'm not blind. I can see the social deficits and how badly he wants to play with other kids. It breaks my heart to see my son get rejected over and over. Would I be crossing the line to get an autism assessment behind my wife's back? She's not cooperative now. If I pull a move like that, she might get even more entrenched in her position or worse, might escalate conflict between us. Any ideas for how to deal with a situation like this? Thanks. I worry that your wife may be negligent here. If 2 different educational institutions have advised you that your child may be missing certain skills, some sort of assessment is advisable. It may not necessarily be autism, but it could be something else. Either way, once the assessment is complete, your medical professional can advise how to best accommodate your child. If your wife isn't willing to do that, she's setting that child up for a difficult and disruptive life. The fact that she refuses to entertain that something is wrong, and doesn't believe an actually diagnosable condition exists, then it sounds like your real problem is that your wife is an unfit parent. A parent should address a child's needs, not pretend they don't exist. Fight for you, baby. Do not let his mother's negligence cost him a chance at a better future. You're taking him to see a medical professional. If she has a problem with that, then she is the problem and needs to get her priorities straight. I've been in this situation. I risked my marriage to get our son what he needed. He was 5 when he was diagnosed with autism and ADHD. He is now 18. I got our son into multiple therapists and programs to help him have the best life possible. We almost divorced because my husband was in denial and wouldn't help me in any way with our son. My husband finally got the idea when I brought up filing and decided to accept our son's diagnoses. He and our son are very close now. It wasn't easy, but he realized he didn't have a choice because I didn't give him one. Hopefully your wife decides to do the same. Wow, she doesn't want to open to the possibility that the kid has the high-functioning type of autism? There should also be programs for that kind of kids too. Maybe suggest to her that possibility, and also would require assessment. Listen friend. I hate my mother for neglecting me as a child, God rest her soul. My dad has a bit of an excuse for not acting in my best interests at the time, but his failure to intervene was neglect all the same. Don't neglect your son. Yes, you will have a bad blowout with your wife. But say it with me. Neglecting our son is not an option. You can spar with your wife in the short term or risk your son resenting you, potentially, for a very long time. There's a good chance the pediatrician has already suggested screening. There are early assessments that are done by them. If your wife has been the only one to go, she's just not telling you. Book an appointment with your son's doctor. Don't tell your wife if you have to. These things should be decided together, but I think what she's doing is abuse.